Ja Morant being investigated by the NBA. The Lakers have the 3 seed. Why everything is working out for the purple and gold. The Cowboys trade for Joe Milton. Kevin Durant is getting traded. I got 5 teams that should trade for KD and the wild NL West. Dodgers, Padres, both starting the year undefeated. Both look unstoppable. We are breaking it down next on a new jam-packed episode of The Big Lead. What is up, and welcome to The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Today, we've got a jam-packed show. We're going to get into it in just a minute. But first, if you are new to The Big Lead, it's the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour. Everything you need to know on the field, off the field, stories that other shows just do not cover. You're going to find it here on The Big Lead. And also, we got a giveaway. We are giving away a Luka Doncic jersey. All you have to do to be eligible is comment Luka Magic down below. And once we hit 2,000 subscribers, we will be giving away live on the show. So be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and drop all of your comments and takes about today's comments. Okay, so let's get right into it. Ja Morant is at it again. Unfortunately, Ja Morant just can't stay out of his own way. A couple years ago, dealing with the issues with the guns and everything related to that and the suspensions and things that he had really tried to overcome and try to put in his past. Well, Memphis Grizzlies star Ja Morant and Golden State Warriors guard Buddy Hield, their teams received warnings from the NBA on Thursday after the players engaged in a verbal altercation that included hand gestures resembling guns during a game Tuesday. Now, if you look at the picture too, there's a picture where you see Ja Morant doing the guns, the finger guns, pointing at Buddy Hield, and his dad, T. Morant, is in the background doing it with his son. So that definitely is not a good sign as far as the influence. And look, the thing is, if you're Ja Morant, is this harmless? In the grand scheme of things, it is, right? It's not like those are real guns or anything like that. And I'm glad that there was no suspension here. I'm glad that Adam Silver wasn't jumping the gun on this. But I do think that if you're Ja Morant, from an optics standpoint, you just want to put this in the past. You want to be buttoned up. You want to be on your best behavior and not put yourself in these situations that you set yourself up for criticism, that give your haters ammo, that give the Ja Morant doubters things to say. Oh, he hasn't changed. He's still that same guy that he's been throughout his career, thinking he's a gangster and all this stuff and whatever it may be. He did tweet yesterday. He did tweet something that was very, very short, but he said, Ja this, Ja that, in a laughing, crying emoji. So clearly he hears the criticism. He knows that whenever it's his name brought up, people are going to jump on it pretty quick. I think the big question is, though, is not about the finger guns or anything like that. It's the fact that, one, the Memphis Grizzlies are sliding. They're starting to struggle. They're free falling down the Western Conference. They just lost 134-125 to the Golden State Warriors. It was their 4th straight loss and 3rd in a row under their new interim head coach. And they're falling. I mean, now the Warriors have the tiebreaker over the Grizzlies, and they fall to the 6th seed in the Western Conference. Now, the big question for Memphis is, where is the future of your franchise? And is it with Ja Morant? And how much of that future is going to be decided in the next few months based on what they do in the playoffs? Because I do think that change could be on the horizon for Memphis. Because as good as Ja Morant is, do they still want to deal with the antics, the baggage that comes with him? And the fact is, they need to make a decision, because he's just 25 years old, but he's eligible for a 2-year, $125 million contract extension this summer. But if you're Memphis, You got the finger guns. You got the antics. It feels like there's always something with Ja Morant. And then the most important thing is the Memphis Grizzlies just have not had a lot of success as a team with him as the face of their franchise. The Grizzlies have won just one playoff series with Ja Morant. It was a win against the Timberwolves. They won in 6 games in 2022, but it's been a lot of early exits. Taylor Jenkins is gone. Ja Morant's still there. Is this the time to consider moving on? I think that Ja Morant is still an extremely talented player. He has all NBA talent. He is the most athletic guy that we've seen at that position since prime Russell Westbrook. He is of that caliber. The man can get up. The man can score. The man is a very dynamic player that really should be a top 10 player in this league. I do think that he should get out of Memphis, though. I think that Ja Morant should get far away from Memphis as he can. I'm talking about the opposite of Memphis. A team like the Portland Trail Blazers or the Utah Jazz, something like that, where, you know what, it's all about basketball, man. And you can do whatever you want after you retire. You can do what you want in the summertime. But it just feels like for Ja Morant, someone that is very easily influenced and kind of wants to be someone that he is not. But I don't know. It seems that for Ja Morant, for him to just kind of focus on basketball for the next 5 to 10 years, I would like to see him in a situation where you have some veterans that can get into his ear. You have a coach that he respects. I just think that Memphis isn't a strong enough franchise, right? Memphis has done nothing in their franchise's history, right? The grindhouse, the grit and grind era with Zach Randolph and Mike Conley and Marcus Saul. I mean, they've had some solid years for sure, but they're not a franchise that is going to be able to go to a player and say, oh, this is how we do things here. Look at these Larry O'Briens. Look at those banners hanging from the rafters, right? Ja Morant's not doing this with a franchise like Boston or Miami or the Lakers or the Warriors or just a strong franchise. He's not doing this in San Antonio. Probably not doing this in Dallas. So I do think a change of scenery could help Ja Morant for the future of his career. But I do want to go to Ja Morant's number one fan right now, and that is our producer. One of our producers got a 2-man producer game. We got THR, the homie Rob, and Young Lotto. Noel Sanchez rock with us as always. I know you probably have some strong opinions on this. You might disagree with what I said, but what are your thoughts on just Ja Morant? Like I said, the player, like not good, not great, like elite. That's where he's at when he's right. But I think situationally, he could benefit from a change of scenery.
Now, I'm a huge fan of Ja, and I think the team that he's been able to help build with the Memphis Grizzlies has been amazing. I mean, he sped up their rebuild so quick. I mean, by year 2, they were already making noise in the play-in tournament. I mean, taking out the Warriors a couple years into his career, making the 2 seed a couple times. But it's extremely disappointing to see him continue to do this. And like you said, finger guns, finger motions, they don't do anything. But I mean, to be quite frank, he has shortened his team's postseason twice already. He's been unavailable. The best ability is availability. He hasn't been that for the Memphis Grizzlies because of his injuries and also because of doing stuff online that isn't good for someone in his shoes. So he's done this celebration a couple of times this year. It hasn't been nationally broadcast like it was this time, and it's because the Warriors made a big thing out of it. Their own NBC Warriors broadcast posted the clip on their X account, and that's the one that got a lot of noise. Nobody's really talking about how Buddy Hield was the one that pointed at him first, but you know, everybody's going to go to John, rightfully so. He's had a lot of problems doing this, but I agree with you, D-Mac. I think the whole culture around the Memphis Grizzlies has been this team that's like kind of, you know, like they're rebelling against the world. It was fun in 2022 when they were first coming up, but blasting all the NBA young boy and just the way they went about business. Dylan Brooks talking about LeBron back in that playoff run. I'm a big fan of Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm a big fan of Desmond Bane. I think them three together could be something special, but I think you hit it right on the money on the fact that you need a coach and you need a culture that he's going to respect. And I've seen Miami thrown out there a lot. I think Miami could be something cool for him.
I agree with you. I mean, Miami, from the culture of Miami Heat in the 305, that could be toxic for him if he can't control himself, right? Just being around that.
That's true, yeah.
But I do think that you could make up for that because of Spoelstra and Riley and what the Heat do. So I agree with you from that end. I like that as a possibility. But I mean, I remember hearing a couple years ago that he grew up with loving parents and a stable household and this and that. And he's kind of trying to be something that he's not. One of my favorite movies of all time is 8 Mile. To me, he's the Papa Doc of the NBA, right? He went to Cranbrook, the private school, right? And he's kind of acting like this. And look, the truth of the matter is, they're doing the rifle, the finger guns down 7 with 20 seconds is kind of crazy. But I'm with you though that like Buddy Hield started it, and like, you know, you got Buddy Hield from the Bahamas with John Morant from the loving household, both exchanging finger guns. I mean, look, it is kind of what it is. But the truth of the matter is the real shooter that night was Steph Curry, right? With the 12 threes, and it's all about winning. And I think that if John Morant wants to put this behind him, he wins, has success, look focused. And I'm just sick and tired of this being what you talk about when you talk about John Morant, because he's too good of a player. He's too talented of a guy that when he's leading off a show like this, it's about stuff like this. It should be like, oh, Ja 30, 15, game winner, Memphis top 3 seed, things like that. So I wish the best for John Morant. I definitely want to see him thrive in this league. He's still young enough that I'm not selling my stock completely. I just want to see him out of Memphis, man. I truly, truly do. All right, switching gears. The Lake Show. Things are working out for the purple and gold. Seems like they always do. Somehow, some way, things work out for the Lake Show. And Wednesday, they got some positive results. Now, the Lakers, they are going to be playing the Warriors tonight. We'll talk about that matchup in a second here and why it's so pivotal, because the Lakers, they can hold on to that 3 seed, and they can also have the tiebreaker with the Warriors, right? They'll win the season series against the Warriors, and yet Austin Reeves hit that game winner against them on Christmas Day. And with the Western Conference being a tight-knit race down the stretch, if you kind of look how things are kind of shaping up, the Lakers could really have that 3 seed and be in the best possible situation. And the way that the season started into where they are now, for they to be in a spot where you could basically only have to play Denver and Oklahoma City once in a playoff run, that's definitely the best case scenario for you. And I think if you're the Lakers right now, you just want to finish strong. You want to finish in the top 3 of the Western Conference, and you want to put yourself in a position to have everyone healthy and everyone really being at their best during this time of year. And the Lakers, they're taking on the Warriors tonight. So we'll get back to kind of the seeding, but let's talk about tonight, because the Lakers-Warriors, it's one of the best matchups in basketball, and it's kind of one of those things too where you don't know how many more times we're going to see Steph Curry and LeBron James on the same court at the same time. And this Warriors team, this could be a matchup that if things break right for both teams, that both of them have a chance to make a deep run, that both of them are deciding who is going to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals, because this Warriors team is completely re-energized. They're completely rejuvenated after the Jimmy Butler trade. Since the trade of Jimmy Butler, the Warriors, they're 19-5. They're also 18-2 when you have Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry on the same court at the same time. They've won 7 of their last 10 games. And for this matchup with the Warriors for so many years, the advantage that the Lakers had was you had Anthony Davis. He was their best weapon against the Warriors. And now you have no AD. AD's out, Luka's in. So we'll see. How does Luka go toe-to-toe with them from a scoring standpoint? We know that he takes a backseat to no one in this league when he's on fire. I think he's looking forward to this matchup as well. And that's going to be a big test for this Lakers team, because this Warriors defense has looked completely different with Jimmy Butler, with a more engaged Draymond Green. Since the trade, the Warriors, they have the 4th best defense during clutch situations. They have the 7th best defense overall. So it's going to be a challenge for this Lakers team that always has to decide, is it going with the big 3 in the small ball defense, or do you have Jackson Hayes, Rui out there And how does your closing lineup look? So I think that's kind of the big question for the Lakers. And I think it's really about which role players are going to secure those roles in those minutes in crucial situations. Dorian Finney-Smith, he struggled of late, but he had a big game. He had 6 threes, had 20 points against the Rockets. Gabe Vincent, another guy who has really turned the corner after being labeled a bust. He had a big game against the Rockets, 6 threes, 20 points. I mean, if DFS and Gabe Vincent can combine for 40 points and you get the LeBron that is still a really good to elite player on most nights, plus Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, that team can beat any team in the NBA, but it's the role players, Rui Hachimura, Jackson Hayes. Will we see some Dawn connect tonight? Now, Steph Curry, he's been absolutely dangerous, and in the past, we've seen Max Christie match up with Steph Curry in these games, but Max Christie, he's in Dallas. So the question for the Lakers is, who matches up with Steph? How do you try to contain him? How do you try to slow him down? Could we see some Jordan Goodwin? Could we see Jared Vanderbilt, who struggled of late against offenses and defenses and just hasn't looked his best? I mean, Jared Vanderbilt is someone that is kind of an X factor, wild card for this Lakers team. And if he can show that the defense is still the reason why you keep him on the court, then it makes absolute sense. But we could also see the Lakers saying, you know what? We're just going to go just pure shootout. We are going to go pure offense, light up that scoreboard, and then focus on having Austin Reeves and Luka as the backcourt to prioritize the offense for most of the games. That's kind of, I think, a big question right there, but this would be massive. The Lakers can come out with a win tonight. If the Lakers can come out with a win tonight, they'll be in sole possession. They'll retain sole possession of the 3rd seed. They'll sweep the season series against the Warriors. And I think, too, more importantly than just any seeding, what this means, I think, too, you send a message. These two teams have a collection of veterans. They also know their windows aren't wide open. They're just ajar to win a championship. And the Lakers need to send a message that says, hey, if we see you down the line, we know how to beat you. We know how to stop you. We schematically can find an advantage. So I think that's very important tonight. The Lakers sending that message to Dub Nation that the Lake Show, they're the better team right now, and they're a team that has a better chance to be a legitimate contender. Now you look at the injuries. Really, the Lakers are getting in good shape. I mean, LeBron James has got the left groin strain. LeGroin James is still working his way back and getting healthier. Maxi Kleber still doing that right foot surgery recovery, so probably not going to see him. On the Warriors side, Jonathan Kuminga, right pelvic contusion, he's questionable. Gary Payton II, left thumb ligament, partial tear, he's out. But both of these teams, you're going to have your big guys, and you're not missing very many. So it's definitely going to be an exciting game. It's a Thursday night TNT game, the games that you love. And I'm just very, very excited to see how this Lakers team takes on this challenge, because the Warriors, lots of screens. I mean, the most screens in the NBA since the last 10 years. So it's going to be a great matchup. And then as far as the Lakers go, it's about holding on to that 3 seed. But Noel, Warriors, Lakers, this is a matchup that we've loved the last 5 to 10 years, really. And both these teams, towards the All-Star break before the trades, look like maybe they'd be playing teams. Maybe they'd win a round or two. Now both these teams believe internally that they can win a championship.
Yeah, I think it's amazing for the NBA and exactly what Adam Silver and company wanted. Both teams making big trades, both teams potentially meeting up at some point in the postseason with a whole new rejuvenated squad. It's like those high school rivals that are just kind of like trying to get the best girl, trying to have the best reputation. It's like LeBron and Steph pulling up one last time, like, yeah, we got some new firepower on both their ends. So I'm really excited for tonight. It's going to be a great 7 p.m. game. Nice little Thursday outing. And yeah, I think we're going to learn. We learn a lot about the Lakers, I feel like, every week in these big matchups. And this is just going to be another one. How are they going to respond to a Warriors team that has been rolling? I mean, Draymond Green just won Player of the Month, right? Or Western Conference. That's
crazy.
I mean, at his age and considering the production.
The snitch?
Yeah. The snitch. Yes, the snitch on Ja Morant.
He snitched on Ja.
So, yeah, I think we know Luka rises in the big moments, so I'm expecting a big game from him tonight.
For sure. I think that is going to be another way of kind of endearing himself to Lakers fans, right? You want to be beloved by Lakers fans, you ball out against Boston, you ball out against the Clippers, you ball out against the Warriors, right? And I think, like we saw earlier, you mentioned the high school stuff. I mean, when Luka, before he was actually playing, all the Lakers were playing like he was a baddie sitting courtside trying to impress him. Now I think that he's trying to impress this team, showing, hey, I'm Luka, MF, and Doncic, right? I am someone that has to be dealt with, but I just think it's so funny. You guys know my take. God's a Laker fan, right? You get Luka Doncic, and then all of a sudden, things are just breaking right. I mean, just look at this. With the Nuggets and Grizzlies losing their last games, the Lakers are firmly right up there in the third spot. And you're right up there with the Rockets, the Nuggets. I mean, the Warriors are a team that they're going to have to certainly look for, but it's going to be exciting down the stretch. And I really think this Lakers team is in a really, really good spot, just because you're really in a position where no one necessarily expects you to win a championship, but you do have the talent to. And sometimes those are the best years to kind of sneak into it. I mean, when the Lakers traded for Pau Gasol back in 2008, it was like, okay, Kobe has his sidekick for the next couple of years. And then somehow, some way, they made it to the finals that year. And if it wasn't for bone spurs that Kobe Bryant was dealing with, if it wasn't for an absolute meltdown in game 3 of that series where Ray Allen went crazy and the Lakers choked one away, then yeah, they could have won a championship in the first year. So it's not outside the realm. There are no juggernaut teams in the NBA. There's some really, really good teams. There's teams that surely deserve to be favored, like the Boston Celtics, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, but there are none of those all-time teams that are existing right now. But there are some all-time players, and those players, a good collection of them are on the Lakers, and LeBron and Luka Doncic. And I think, too, if they hand Golden State a loss, Minnesota, they have a shot at the 5 seed. So that means a first-round matchup with Denver, and that means the Lakers would only see OKC and Denver. That's a preferred path right there. So, I mean, let's have Denver do our dirty work, or the Warriors do our dirty work. So, yeah, Lake Show, get ready, man. Playoffs, they're coming. And we know that this team has a run in them for sure. But let's stay in the association. Kevin Durant, NBA's one of the most NBA's really most underrated, underappreciated superstar, because he's played for so many teams at this point. Like, he's going full-blown late career Shaq, but the only difference is he's still good. You would think that a team like the Phoenix Suns would say, oh, no, KD's sticking with us. We're not losing out on KD. But Shams Charania has reported that the Phoenix Suns intend to move on from Kevin Durant, and they're going to facilitate a trade for him this offseason. Shams said there's going to be changes coming to Phoenix, barring a miracle finish to the year. From a roster perspective, that's going to start with Kevin Durant. KD did have interest in the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the Rockets, the Spurs, and the Heat at this past trade deadline. So he clearly wants out. He clearly has eyes on another destination. I think he wants to get traded to the Dodgers so he can win another championship. But if he's going to stay in the NBA, I'm going to break down some teams. First, his buddy, Anthony Edwards, a guy that looked up to him, that wanted to be him. Imagine pairing him with Anthony Edwards in Minnesota. They were both Olympic teammates in Paris. Edwards idolized Kevin Durant. Minnesota just has gone through an ownership change from Glenn Taylor to A-Rod and Mark Lowry. So anytime you have ownership change, they want to create a spark, right? You got Tim Connolly. He opted out of his contract. So there's going to be changes made there. I mean, you got Rudy Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham. Minnesota has players that you could use in a trade. So I seriously think that Minnesota needs to go for it to just jumpstart that franchise. New ownership, a young, exciting star in Anthony Edwards. I think that makes them a pairing where it'd be really fun to see, where Kevin Durant respects Anthony Edwards and both of them going for a championship. I think that would be really cool to see. And then the Spurs are another team that makes a lot of sense to me. The Spurs are one of the most stable franchises in the association. They made a big swing by getting De'Aaron Fox at the deadline. They have accumulated so many assets in the last couple of seasons while still developing guys, having the future of the NBA on their team in Victor Wembanyama, having De'Aaron Fox. Might as well get Kevin Durant and try to go for 2 different eras of championships. Now, the San Antonio Spurs have a history of doing this. David Robinson, the Twin Towers, they won a championship in 1999. Tim Duncan and David Robinson. And then when David Robinson was gone, you had another era of championships with Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan. So I think with Victor Wembanyama, I'm looking to spread those championship windows out with different generations. When you see players win championships along the course of a long career, you have to realize and identify that you have that guy. You have that pillar of your franchise, that weight-bearing wall that's going to be the rock of your franchise, and it's about stretching that out. Kobe Bryant won 3 with Shaq, and he also won 2 with Pau Gasol. Michael Jordan, it was always about Pippen, but in that second half, you added a Dennis Rodman. Tony Kukoc was a player. Luke Longley was a player, right? In that first half, you had Horace Grant, right? You had Paxson. You had different guys. LeBron James has won titles with different nucleuses. So I like the idea of San Antonio making that move, knowing that Kevin Durant's not going to be here forever, but I do think that he can make that Spurs team if you get Wembanyama healthy and he continues to grow. Why not? That would be my number one choice to me if I was Kevin Durant. Just go to San Antonio, man. No BS. You go with a great organization. You got Victor Wembanyama. The Rockets are another interesting team. They've been attached to Kevin Durant for a long time, really. And it's interesting because Houston actually controls Phoenix's first-round picks in 2027 and 2029. So if the Suns want to rebuild, they could do it through Houston. So that would give the Rockets a advantage when it comes to acquiring Kevin Durant if they wanted to, but also it means that Houston could hold out and wait for guys like Booker or some of their other guys to become available. So I do see Houston and Phoenix making some deals in the future. It could be a team for him. And how about this? This is the wild one. Here's my wild one. Here's my wild card. How about Oklahoma City? Imagine that. You go home to OKC. And yes, OKC has a ton of talent. You got Shea, you got Jalen Williams, you got Chet Holmgren, but I don't think that Kevin Durant is a superstar that stunts the growth of players. I think he's as plug and play as any NBA superstar that we've seen. That's evidenced by his multiple stops, being good to great, basically everywhere he's been. Really, I think being a top 15 player in the history of the game, maybe the 11th best player in the game, I mean, if you really look at it. And if you're OKC, of course you're keeping that core intact, but you have a lot of assets like the Spurs, Isaiah Hartenstein, Isaiah Joe. I mean, you got Aaron Wiggins. I mean, you got other guys that you could do while also including draft picks that I think could make this interesting. Kevin Durant going home to Oklahoma City after all those years, it might make him feel like I don't have to live with an entire state thinking that me leaving them is why they don't have an NBA title. That would be the ultimate way to rectify the situation. That would be the way to make things right for him in Oklahoma. So we'll see what the Thunder do. If the Thunder flame out, they might think, hey, we need a veteran, man. We need someone that can push this team over the top. But Noel, what are your thoughts first on because you're a big Thunder fan, right?
Yes.
You're a big OSK. Oh, we got the I didn't know I got the Cam. What did it do?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on some of the teams? I like the Spurs. I really like the Spurs. I don't want to say like, oh, let's go to the Knicks because the Knicks. Go to the I'm so sick of like, let's throw KD in a market because they are a market. I want to see KD go to a team where he can win and help that team win and elevate. Because Phoenix, it was supposed to be about that, but it wasn't.
Yeah, if he went to the Spurs, that would just be insane. The big three: De'Aaron Fox, Victor Wembanyama, and Kevin Durant. No team will want to see that team in the regular season, let alone the postseason. That would just be a horrible matchup for any defense. The teams that I've been looking at and just looking at overall trade packages, I think the Houston Rockets could put something together really, really good for either KD or maybe Devin Booker in the future. But talking about KD specifically, Rockets have guys with a lot of talent that are young, that aren't getting playing time. Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore. They're trying to move off of Fred VanVleet from what I heard and move to a different point guard or give Amen Thompson more ball handling duty so he could grow. I think the only two untouchable players on the Rockets are Alperen Sengun and Amen Thompson. And like you mentioned, D-Mac, they have all the Phoenix Suns picks. So it would just make sense to give them one of their guys, one of their top guys, and be able to get their future picks back again. So yeah, I think anybody other than Amen and Alperen, they're going to say, who do you want? We'll put something together. And I think KD on that Rockets team could really, really elevate them in the postseason. They're a team that's fun, that's had success, but nobody's seen them as a real threat this season.
But the Thunder.
Oh, the Thunder. Yeah. And I mean,
talk to me about OKC. Because like to me, I was a wrestling fan as a kid.
Yeah.
And I remember when Hollywood Hulk Hogan came out and people freaked out. He went heel. It was Hollywood Hulk Hogan with the NWO, and it was people hated it, right? He became the bad guy. But then years later, WCW Nitro, you had Goldberg out there, and then Hulk Hogan came out with the red and yellow once again, rips his shirt off. WCW fans were crying, wrestling fans everywhere were happy again. This could be his Hollywood Hulk Hogan moment, going back to red and yellow Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
I mean, KD, similar to Paul George, but on a more extreme level, he hasn't been able to find that home. He had it super early on with OKC because he was the nice guy. He was this kid that we had never really seen have this playing style before in the NBA at his height, putting the ball on the floor, scoring the baskets. And then the way he went to the Warriors, the way he left the Warriors, went to Brooklyn, didn't find any success there after pretty much saying he would never play for the Knicks. And then now having virtually no success on the Suns. This would be the one way for him to actually go full circle. And I mean, if he brought them their first title after all the memories he had with them and after the way the fan base turned on him, that would be special. And a lot of people are saying that the Thunder could see success without Chet Holmgren, that would be the guy that they would move off of and they would keep Shea and Jalen Williams, because with the way this new CBA works, it looks like they're going to have to choose, or either Chet or J-Dub are going to have to take a big hometown discount. Then, it gets interesting. I think that it would just be an insane narrative. Just like I kind of wanted to see him go back to Golden State at the trade deadline, just for the funness of the NBA and seeing him go back to Steph. It would be even more incredible to see him pair up with Shea and go back home.
That would be pretty special. And I think that's a smart, calculated organization with Sam Presti. They know what they're doing. They wouldn't do it if they didn't think that it would help get them over the top. And look, they went crazy a couple years ago when they got Paul George and they got Carmelo Anthony, and they have taken big swings in the past. So I think a lot of it's predicated on how they do in the playoffs this year. But switching gears to baseball, the wild NL West, the two best teams in the sport both reside in Southern California, and it's the Los Angeles Dodgers, who became the first team to go 8-0 following a World Series title. They broke the 1933 Yankees record. And this Dodgers team, they're unstoppable, and they haven't played their best baseball. Last night, Shohei Ohtani had his bobblehead night, and he crushes a walk-off home run. This Dodgers team hasn't got the best from their starting rotation yet. Pitchers going 5 innings. The bullpen, they've been solid, but even their best bullpen pieces haven't been at their very best. Guys like Alex Vesia and Tanner Scott. But still, this Dodgers team, they look like they're ready to repeat. They look like they're ready to do something that's never been done in a long time, and that is go back-to-back. That hasn't happened since 2000. Could go for the all-time wins record. But the question was, who would compete in the NL West? Now, most people, including myself, have said that the Arizona Diamondbacks were going to be that team because of the additions they made. You still have great players like Ketel Martell and Corbin Carroll. You added Corbin Burns, but it's the San Diego Padres that have gotten off to a great start. 7-0 for San Diego to start the year. And this is the team that was one game away from knocking off the Dodgers in the NLDS last season. And San Diego came so close. You lost some pieces, but the bullpen has been great for them. And this is just going to be great for the sport to see these two teams that have gone undefeated to start the year. Now, the sad thing, I just don't understand this scheduling, is the Dodgers, they don't play the San Diego Padres for a while. The Dodgers don't play the Padres until June. How did Major League Baseball screw this up, where the Dodgers don't go to San Diego until June 9th through the 11th? We want to see these two teams square off already, because it'd be great for the sport. But still, they've been just fantastic. I mean, you have seen great starts for teams, but a lot of times not in the same division. In 2003, the Royals started 9-0. The Giants started 7-0 that year. 1982, the Braves started 13-0, which is the record, and the White Sox started 8-0. 1962, the Pirates 10-0. The Cardinals 7-0. Then the craziest one, actually, when I go back to kind of the pre-modern era, the St. Louis Maroons. Shout out to the St. Louis Maroons. They went 20-0. That's a team no one talks about. Against the New York Gothams, 12-0. First of all, why did they keep that name? Because that's kind of fire right there. The New York Gotham. So it's the first time that two teams in the same division have both been at least 7-0 since the divisional play began in 1969. So what we are seeing right now is truly historic between these two teams. When they go at it, they don't like each other. People that are saying this is not a rivalry. You're just trying to be dismissive and have that little brother mentality towards the Padres. Because I'm telling you, this is one of the best rivalries in all of sports right now, with the way these two teams have had these heated battles throughout the year. So the NL West is where it's at in Major League Baseball. All right, switching gears to the National Football League. The Cowboys have made a trade, and they traded a 5th-round pick for Patriots quarterback Joe Milton. So Joe Milton, he has always had a ton of talent. He was at Michigan, Tennessee. He kind of moved around a little bit, but the talent has always really been there. And there was a lot of teams. There were a lot of teams that were interested in Joe Milton. He was a 2024 6th-round pick, and he has always had the potential, but it was the game that he had against the Buffalo Bills in Week 18 last season that really opened eyes. He threw for 241 yards, was 22 for 29. He had 2 touchdowns. It was his first career start. It was a 23-16 win over Buffalo, and the Patriots apparently had a better offer for Milton, but instead they decided to send him to his desired destination. So got to give a lot of respect for that. I think that's great to see. And he said he's really excited about it, man. I like this pick. I'm giving this an A grade for the Cowboys. This is a sneaky move. So he said to reporters after the trade, "My family grew up a Cowboys fan. My mom always had a Cowboys shirt on. She always talked about them. Living in Texas has been a long time dream of mine, and now I'm with them. I'm ready to work." So right now in Dallas, of course, you have Dak Prescott, a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he played in just 8 games last year after suffering that season-ending hamstring injury. And the Cowboys are said to be, quote, thrilled about Prescott's recovery as he looks to return to the way he looked in 2023 when he had 36 touchdowns and he was extremely productive in the regular season. But this gives them a potential wild card type of talent that I'm really excited about for Dallas. I mean, they've got a lot of bad press lately with the whole Micah Parsons stuff, with the way they've kind of navigated their salary cap and trying to retain certain guys. But in Milton, the Cowboys, you get a cable backup now for Prescott, and you didn't have to give a lot to get him. So Dallas, they needed to replenish their quarterback room anyway after Cooper Rush and Trey Lance were gone and they left. And instead of signing a veteran, someone like a Joe Flacco or someone that was out there, the Cowboys, they got a 25-year-old Joe Milton who has 1 NFL career start under his belt and 1 year of NFL experience, but he also has upside. He has ceiling, and now it's going to be Dak Prescott and Will Grier, a 30-year-old veteran who are going to make up that Cowboys quarterback room. So, yeah, I like it. You can learn under Dak Prescott, and you can just see how things go from there. I think from the Patriots side, given all the buzz about Milton this offseason and all the teams that needed a quarterback, it's a little surprising that the Patriots just didn't get more from him. And as I said earlier, the Patriots did Milton a solid by trading him to the team where he wanted to go. But hey, one reoccurring theme this offseason is that teams are protecting their draft picks more than ever. So the Patriots getting a 5th round pick and trading away a 7th round pick for Milton, it's not that bad, but I thought they could get more. I mean, if you kind of compare it to the Eagles trade of Kenny Pickett to Cleveland, Philly sent Pickett to Cleveland in exchange for a 2025 5th round pick and fellow backup quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA. And the Patriots, they got the same compensation from Dallas and Philly that they did for Pickett, a former 1st round pick with 25 career starts who reportedly get a chance to compete in Cleveland. So yeah, it just kind of depends how you look at, but yeah, Milton, he looked great in his final year until he got hurt in college. He looked great when he played. There's just not a lot of great backups that have actual upside that could be starters in this league at some point. So if I'm the Cowboys, I think you made a great trade, an exciting trade. I'd rather take a chance on Milton over one of those rookies, over a journeyman backup, and you can still draft one too if you really wanted to, but this is a great move. He's got a ton of upside, definitely worth a 5th round pick. Now, switching gears, a extremely heartbreaking, devastating, sad story in Major League Baseball about Yankees Brett Gardner, who recently lost his son. And it was revealed today that carbon monoxide poisoning was the cause of death of the teenage son of former New York Yankees outfielder Brett Gardner, authorities in Costa Rica said Wednesday night. So just a terrible story. Brett Gardner, a great guy. There was a lot of speculation. And Gardner, he passed away on March 21st while staying with his family at a hotel on the Manuel Antonio Beach in Costa Rica's Central Pacific. Asphyxiation was initially thought to have caused his death after an autopsy was performed by the forensic pathology section. That theory was ruled out, so that wasn't it. Another line of investigation centered on whether the family had suffered food poisoning. Family members had reportedly felt ill after dining at a nearby restaurant on the night of March 20th and received treatment from the hotel doctor. So it's just an absolute devastating story. Brett Gardner, he was drafted by the Yankees in 2005. He spent his entire career there with the organization. And this is just the saddest thing I can think of. It's just really, really terrible for sure. They had some more information about it. The director of Judicial Investigation Agency, Randall Zuniga, he said that the 14-year-old Miller Gardner was tested for carbon monoxide and the compound generated when carbon monoxide binds to the hemoglobin in the blood. And then when carbon monoxide saturation exceeds 50%, it's considered lethal. In Gardner's case, the test showed that it was at 64%. He said, it's important to note that adjacent to his room is a dedicated machine room where it's believed there may be some contamination toward these rooms. So I don't know who's at fault for this. It says the head of the Costa Rican Judicial Police added that during the autopsy, a layer was detected on the boy's organs, which forms when there's a high presence of the poisonous gas. So this is just terrible. I don't know who's at fault for this. This is just a terrible accident, but this is heartbreaking, devastating, and just prayers out for the Gardner family and just everything that is related to that for sure. It's just so sad. But switching gears back to the NFL, the Chiefs are reportedly interested in becoming the Christmas Day game. So Detroit, they have Thanksgiving. The Chiefs, they want a holiday game to call their own, and they're reportedly asking the NFL to make them a staple of the Christmas Day schedule, according to The Athletic. Now, the Chiefs, they appear likely to get their wish in 2025. They're expected to play on Christmas Day this year. The NFL will host 3 games that day. The first 2 will be on Netflix. The third game is going to be on Amazon Prime as a part of the Thursday Night Football package. And the Christmas Day falls on a Thursday in 2025. So you're going to get an extra game because of that. But the NFL, they have basically said, we are going to take Christmas now. I mean, the NFL has pretty much gone out of its way to schedule games on Christmas Day since 2020 when the holiday fell on that Friday, right? And you wanted to have a game on that day. And that day, the league only had one game on Christmas Day, but it was a good game. It was the Saints. Alvin Kamara had 6 touchdowns. They beat the Vikings 52-33. Then the next year, the NFL had 2 games on Christmas Day. The Green Bay Packers, they defeated the Cleveland Browns, and the Colts beat the Arizona Cardinals 2022. It was on a Sunday, so instead of having a full slate of games, the NFL had 3 games. The Packers won their second straight Christmas Day game. They beat the Dolphins, the Rams, they beat the Broncos, and the Buccaneers, they beat the Cardinals. So the Chiefs, they played their first Christmas Day on 2023. They lost to the Raiders. So Chiefs played in 2024 last year. They beat the Steelers, and then they're going to play this season on Christmas Day. So the Lions and Cowboys, they're on Thanksgiving Day. The Lions, they started hosting games on Thanksgiving all the way back in 1934. The Cowboys, they played on Thanksgiving for the first time in 1966, but now it could be the Chiefs on Christmas Day. And I actually like this. I mean, look, I know people are going to say I'd rather have Cole in my stocking than watch Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid because there's some Chiefs haters out there. I don't understand why the Chiefs have haters. I really do not. I mean, I know everyone hates a winner. People want to build you up to break you down. At the end of the day, I think that the NFL should want their best players playing on the biggest stage, and Patrick Mahomes should be the best player in the NFL. So I think that this does make a lot of sense for me. I will say that if what I want to see the Bengals and Browns playing on Halloween. Wouldn't that be cool? Both orange teams right there. I think that'd be kind of awesome right there. But yeah, Chiefs, Christmas Day. I think that's what we're going to get. And it's smart too. It's smart branding for a franchise that really is becoming a marquee franchise, that is winning Super Bowls, that's going to put themselves and elevate that franchise, and having them on Christmas Day and being a part of Christmas is definitely going to be something that will even help them accomplish that. But lastly here, just got to show this. A Hawks fan, I feel bad for this Hawks fan, man. This Hawks fan tore his ACL. He tore his ACL in one of those little halftime things, like in between quarter things, and it was terrible to see. It was during intermission, Hawks versus Trailblazers at State Farm Arena, where 2 Atlanta fans, they were picked to participate in a basketball version of tic-tac-toe. And the guy wearing the Hawks sweatshirt, he was supposed to hit a few layups before his opponent did and score a tic-tac-toe. But the problem is, as he went up for the first layup, his knee gave out. He crumbled to the floor in pain. And it turns out that he tore his ACL. And I think he's going to be out for the season. He's probably done for the year. There's no way he can come back from this, at least this year. Take my knee. The lady kind of played. First of all, the guy was messed up. He kept shooting shots during it. He didn't stop. And the lady's like, no. And she was pretty upset about it. But yeah, what should they do for this fan?
Oh, man. That was rough to see.
That was sad to see.
Non-contact injury like it always is, huh, Doug? Always a non-contact.
It's always a non-contact. Bring out the air cat.
All right, let's see. I think
put him in Migos' next song. Let him drop a verse.
He should be able to sit courtside with all the Atlanta rappers. So you got Quavo, you got Lil Baby, Playboy Cardi, all those guys. Give him a nice little courtside gesture whenever they have the celebrities. And
10 free lap dances at Magic City.
Yes, that, and also free tickets for the next 10 seasons to the play-in tournament, because the Hawks are always in the play-in tournament.
Ooh.
So definitely play-in tournament.
Finish him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. I think that would definitely do the trick right there. But we wish this guy a speedy recovery. And look,
real quick, you gotta show the people the clip. We got it loaded up for you.
We got the clip? Oh,
right
my bad.
Right there.
Okay, so let's take a look at the clip.
And then they are ready for this five-ball change tic-tac-toe game. Now, this is a basketball game, so we had to add some basketball in it. They have to make a layup in order to get a game piece. Once they grab their game piece, they'll place it on the board, and the first to get all 5 game pieces or tic-tac-toe will be our winner. So, James, Daz, are you ready? All right, then tic-tac, go! Oh, James! Oh, no! Hold on! Let's make sure my guy is good! Oh, man! Whoa, this is not really a fair game at this point. James! Can you just, wait, can you just be kind and come over here with me and check on James? Dog, Des, we know you want him, but okay. Turn around. Okay, we gonna check on him, but I mean, I don't. See him? I can give you a winner.
Real quick, because what has me dead here is the cheerleaders still trying to hand him the pieces when he's laid out in pain. Look at this.
And then they are ready for this five-ball change tic-tac-toe game. Now, this is a basketball game, so we had to add some basketball in it. They have to make a layup in order to get a game piece. Once they grab their game piece, they'll place it on the board, and the first to get all 5 game pieces or tic-tac-toe will be our winner. So, James, Daz, are you ready? All right, then tic-tac, go! Oh, James! Oh, no! Hold on! Let's make sure my guy is good! Oh, man! Whoa, this is not really a fair game at this point. James! Can you just, wait, can you just be kind and come over here with me and check on James? Dog, Des, we know you want him, but okay. Turn around. Okay, we gonna check on him, but I mean, I don't.
Hey, man. So, yeah, speedy recovery for him. I think he should have gone the crutches, kind of did the free throws, kind of like Kyrie, did a little jobs not finished, but maybe he's not built like that. Maybe he's trying to get paid, though. Do you think he's trying to get paid? Kind of threw some water on the court?
Yeah, maybe it's a little. Maybe they'll do a little investigation into it. We'll see what comes out of this.
Also, too, why was Atlanta's pretty brutal, man? They're all laughing.
I know, that's cool. Even the host, man, I would hate to be the host in that situation.
And I like honestly, I respect. I mean, it's kind of dirty, but I do respect that fan finished the game, because you know Atlanta's gonna be like, well, you never finished it. He's like, no, I finished it. I actually made my shot, so got to give him credit for that. But yeah. Wish him well. The injuries can't catch a break, man. It's even fans now, man. It's messed up. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, what are you waiting for? Join the movement. The fastest growing sports show on the planet. The Big Lead, TBL. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and comment Luka Magic so you're eligible for our Lakers Luka Magic jersey giveaway once we hit 2,000 subscribers. So please do that. See you guys next week. And until next time, I'm out.